Secretary of State Marco Rubio saying the U.S. will impose new sanctions on Russia if there's no progress on a peace deal with Ukraine. His remarks followed President Trump's 2-hour phone call with Russian President Putin in an effort to try to resolve what has turned into be a 3-year conflict between, of course, Russia and Ukraine. Joining us right now is Derek Chollet. He's the managing director and head of newly launched JPMorganChase Center for Geopolitics. He's also a veteran of the Clinton and Obama administrations, working at both the State Department and the Pentagon. Good morning to you.
Great to be with you guys.
We should say their first report is out today. It's called Helping Clients Navigate Global Challenges. Your boss, Jamie Dimon, made some comments just 2 days ago at the Investor Day, just about how challenging things are and how perhaps, I don't know, he seemed to indicate he thought maybe the markets were a little too sanguine about these risks.
Well, I mean, we are at a time of tremendous risk, tremendous uncertainty in the world. It's really hard to think of something in the recent decades where we've had this much uncertainty. And that's why Jamie has asked me to start this new center at JPMorgan Chase to focus on geopolitics, to help our clients navigate this incredibly uncertain world.
So here's the tough part. If you look at a chart and you mapped wars on top of a chart, you wouldn't necessarily know it, meaning you'd think that, when there's a bomb that goes off or something that happens, invariably the market should be tanking and people should be freaking out. Invariably, over time, it looks like a blip if it looks like anything at all. And so I'm always curious how an investor is supposed to actually not just understand the risks of what these things are, but invest around them.
Sure. And that's our job, is to try to help clients mitigate the downsides and realize the upsides. And there's so much going on in the world at the same time. What we're trying to do is help them navigate through all of this uncertainty, to distinguish between what's important and what's not, and to try to seize the opportunities that are out there. Because amidst all the downsides, the bad things that are happening, I still do think there are great opportunities out there.
Not with Putin.
Now, perhaps not with Russia, but I think in the Middle East, as the president showed last week,
what about
a lot
Syria?
Upside. I think Syria could be. I thought the president was smart to lift sanctions and give those guys a chance. And Syria has been such a trouble spot for so long. I wouldn't want to bet on it being successful anytime soon, but I think there's potential there.
Netanyahu's still got our backing, or questionable?
Well, look, the U.S.-Israel relationship is bigger than any two leaders, right? And of course, Prime Minister Netanyahu has had difficult relationships with pretty much every U.S. president he's served alongside, whether it's Clinton or Bush or Obama or Biden or Trump. But I think clearly, Israel is right now trying to figure out its way forward with the current administration. Very, very close relationship. But at the same time, the president's trip last week sent some signals to the Israelis that I think are troubling.
Can I ask you a theoretical question? In your view, is the Golden Dome actually possible?
I think technically it's going to be very, very difficult. I think it's a worthy goal, and it's something we should
explore. Can you imagine if that was lifted from? We have an atomic clock going to zero for when, and we're at 11 seconds.
Yeah,
because
that's right.
There's thousands of nukes that some of them could be. Who knows?
Chinese developing hypersonic missiles, which could hit us. Absolutely.
If we actually had something that would. Putin wouldn't have nearly the juice he has right now.
Look, as I said, I think it's a worthy goal. We haven't seen a lot of specifics on how it's exactly going to work, and I do wonder whether the technology is going to be there. One of the papers that we've released today is about defense innovation and reform and the opportunities there.
Iron Dome is one thing.
Absolutely, yeah.
But for the United States and Canada, that's
Israel's the size of New Jersey, right? And Iron Dome covers a state, size of New Jersey. The United States is a whole different.
What is the cost of the Iron Dome?
Oh, it's over 100 million, total.
They said 5 over 10 years, 500.
But the Golden Dome is going to be.
No, but that's just over New Jersey. That's what I'm trying to.
No,
hundreds of millions.
No.
And it'd be I think it'd be up in the T's.
Absolutely, hundreds. Yeah. And this is also something we're going to have to work with the Canadians on, because in terms of the radar coverage in Canada.
Would you have to, maybe Mexico too, or no?
Yeah. No, well, I think Canada, because of the trajectory of missiles, you use Canada. So,
in terms of opportunity, you say you see opportunity.
Yeah.
So the investor class that's listening to you talk about all these risks, where is the quote-unquote, what are they supposed to be doing?
So, look, I think defense is a big opportunity, because the U.S. is going to be spending more on defense, whether it's on the Golden Dome or modernizing our military. I think Europeans are going to be spending more on defense, and there's going to be opportunities there. I also think, just in terms of regions, the president showed last week the tremendous opportunities in the Middle East. One of the reports we're releasing today is on the Middle East, and I think that the dynamism we're seeing, particularly in the Gulf, is remarkable. And it's something that they're going to do it whether we're part of it or not. And I think it's a huge U.S. advantage to be part of it.
I didn't hear what you said last week about the $5.2 trillion that President Trump's talking about that he's gathered from the Middle East. How much do you think is real? How much was already done? How much do you think finally happens?
Yeah. I don't know.
Are you cynical? Are you cynical?
Cynical or professionally
Doubtful.
skeptical?
Professionally skeptical.
I think it's our job to be professionally skeptical. I think every journalist and investor's job is to be professionally skeptical.
Look, everybody's human, and I think certain things are highly more skeptical in different areas than you think. We disagree on what we are highly skeptical of. So
do I think that there's $5.2 trillion?
How much is really coming? Don't answer, because you.
I don't know. I don't know the answer.
Yeah. I think a few trillion.
By the way, even if it's a few trillion, that's a lot.
That's a lot.
So let's not.
Well, it sounds like you're almost positive about this then.
By the way, anything more than zero is good.
Okay, good.
I mean, unless you're giving something up for it, and we don't know about that part.
I'm happy to hear that. I'm happy to hear you're saying that. Derek.
Thank you for coming in.